Today, as we bring in Nova Loraine. Nova, your mic. We're so very happy to have you here today at GatherVerse FATHOM Summit 2023, dealing with fashion, art, technology, humanity, open source music. We're very valued and welcomed to have your presence here today to expand on the understanding of the relatability of fashion that plays such a persistent role in our communities and what it means to us in the world, not just digitally, but humanely. Nova, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you? So excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you here with us as GatherVerse as we gather Earth's communities at this intersection of humanity and technology. And we lean in and lean forward to be able to explore what these technologies mean for us and how it influences our lives. And with fashion being what it is when it comes to culture, what are you seeing today? What is the current state of fashion at this intersection of virtual reality, augmented reality, spatial computing, the metaverse, so forth and so on? What does it look like from your lens today?
I love this question. Actually, I'm writing a book about this. The book actually captures where we are right now in the intersection of fashion and how emerging technology is impacting the future of this industry. And the book is called Fashion AI and the Digital Age of Fashion. So definitely go to fashionai.ai. You can get more information. But to answer your question, it's a really, really fascinating time. And a couple of decades ago, there was a book called The End of Fashion, written by fashion business journalist Terry Agins. And I remember reading it and the stories of the various brands that were captured in that book. And what she was sharing as a takeaway, and I didn't get it then, but the takeaway was that we are seeing a fundamental shift in how fashion is done and how clothes are manufactured and marketed. And it was really giving hints to fast fashion. And what at the time that term didn't exist, but exists now, and we see the results of that.
Hmm.
And I feel that if we were empowered with where we would be fast forward 2 decades, as we scaled on manufacturing, as how we diverted manufacturing to certain areas and how they're done, and that it's not always ethical, we see where we are now in terms of the not so sustainable parts of the industry. And when you have technology such as blockchain and artificial intelligence and you know AR, VR, XR, these immersive experiences being brought into virtual spaces, and how fashion is going to play a role in these environments and how these technologies are going to impact fashion. It's really, really fascinating. And you mentioned some named and notable brands earlier, and we see these legacy brands really taking a leap forward and showing some very interesting use cases as relates to smart contracts powered by blockchain, aka NFTs. We're seeing metaverse fashion shows, so how to experience fashion in virtual spaces. We're looking at very hyper realistic 3D design of avatars and influencers that don't exist. They only are existing in the 3D form of themselves. And again, sometimes powered by AI. And then we're looking at artificial intelligence. And I think we have to put it in two buckets right now. AI has been around for a while. A lot of our social media platforms have been powered by AI. A lot of our mainstream softwares that help us every single day have been powered by AI. Our search engines have been powered by AI. But when we're looking at fashion now and what the buzz is about, it includes the generative AI, which is at the forefront through a lot of the creative use cases that we're seeing. And then on the other in the other bucket is AI that's helping with data analytics and trend forecasting and supply chain management. And there are some really, really great benefits of how AI can improve sustainability, how it can improve workflow and efficiency, and help bring in more ethical practices as it relates to fashion production. So I see these technologies really taking one of the oldest industries in the world and turning it on its head. And I believe the result is going to benefit the consumer, both in storytelling. We've seen some really fun examples thanks to LVMH, Gucci, but then also in more personalized, customized, on-demand fashion that really speaks to who we are as individuals.
Why now? Why are we seeing this explosion of fashion in such a sense? Is it just because we have the capability? Is there something more in terms of desire? What do you think the next game, not perhaps the end game, it's a bit much, but what do you think the next game is? And why are we seeing this today, this explosion of fashion?
Right. So as it relates to emerging tech and the use cases, you'll notice that they are your larger brands, more notable brands, and they understand the power of storytelling. And fashion touches everybody. And to your point earlier, you can't have tech without art. And Apple is still to this day one of the best use cases as bringing art and design together with technology. And so understanding that our generations and their needs and desires are changing, these brands to stay relevant have to adopt emerging technology. They have to get ahead of it, and they have to understand how to incorporate it in storytelling to appeal to a changing demographic in terms of what they want and the experiences they want. And because it is something that touches everyone, like music and food, it's a conversation that everyone can have. So it benefits the tech industry because it's something that's relatable, but it benefits the companies that are taking the chance on this new technology because it's allowing them to appeal to a new audience. It's allowing them to reach an audience that never purchased before, but it's also allowing them to stay relevant and use the tech to their advantage to stay ahead as it relates to storytelling. And then also, let's not forget data. Data is gold these days. So it also affords them a whole new realm of data acquisition and analytics.
Artificial intelligence, generative pre-trained transformers, AI. You and I offline have had incredible discussions. You certainly know how to wrap your mind around that. When it comes to AI, what role does it play in fashion today? I'm very curious to know what you're seeing out there, Nova.
Yeah, love this question as well. I'm very visual. I love storytelling, as you know, so I'm gonna keep it simple, and then let's look at a pie and slice it into three. And let's start at the back end of the pie and work our way forward. And so on the back end, you have your raw materials and what is brought together to then bring in-house to be assembled and developed to then bring to the forefront where it touches the consumer. So on the back end, we have the raw materials and AI helping identify sustainable textiles. We have it identify processes that can save on water usage. We have it identify workflows that will save on water usage. And so when we're talking about this issue of waste and we're talking about this issue of power management and more sustainable materials that can be scaled, this is where AI can come into place. Also, as an independent designer or even as a large brand or producer, and you want to simplify how to find more sustainable manufacturers or factories, how to find these more sustainable textiles. Well, again, you'll have AI being able to play matchmaker and make that process more efficient than in the past and allow these producers of textiles, allow these manufacturers that have implemented these more ethical labor practices and more efficient workflow processes into their business model to be found more easily. Now let's move into the second slice where you have employees, you have your decision makers, your stakeholders, and how does AI impact this group of individuals? Well, you're going to allow your team members to get a lot of time back to focus on more higher level thinking and projects and tasks by allowing automation to take the lead in some more mundane everyday projects and tasks that individuals were doing. You also have it being able to push the boundaries of creativity as it relates to designers and creatives, where they can play with the tools and imagine things that they may not have imagined without the tools. You have product development and the efficiency and scale of products, and where you can produce more concepts and not only produce more, but test those concepts before they're brought into physical reality, again, aiding on reducing waste as it relates to materials. You have the ability to identify sizes and create sizing that is more personalized, so you have less returns from the consumer. And then you have the ability to get input in from the consumer before the product is made into real life, but then also you're able to personalize that experience to them. And then let's move to the external, where the storytelling takes place. And with AI, but then also with other technologies such as blockchain and augmented reality and immersive spaces, aka the metaverse and virtual worlds, you're able to deliver something that's so much more dynamic and multidimensional than what consumers have been experiencing. You know, you can go into a retailer and see and experience a hologram. You can step in front of a smart mirror that allows you to switch colors of the outfit that you're trying on. You are able to, you know, walk down the street and see this object coming out of the building in real time. And so there's so many things that these technologies are impacting, you know, from the front end, from storytelling and directly touching the consumer, all the way to acquiring the raw materials.
Indeed, and thank you for sharing that, Nova. And with our final question that we have, which is for me a big one, and I know it certainly is for you, when we look at this intersection of accessibility and equity, equality, safety and privacy and wellness and ethics, and really humane first standards when it comes to the approach to technology, what does that mean today to the fashion world as a whole? Are these shared concerns when we start thinking about equitable access and accessibility and startup development and the opportunity for those to get involved that may not have an understanding of where we're headed? Because it seems to me the cadence and the tempo of technology has accelerated in such a fashion that when we deal with art like fashion and its marriage pairing of emerging technologies, that for many the train might be moving too fast. What are you seeing, and what does that mean to you, Nova?
Yeah, thank you for that. And there's a lot to unpack there. And I think one of the things I would like to start with is the reason why you and I are here. And it's to use education to empower and to bring access. And, you know, should there be concerns? Absolutely, there should be concerns. But I feel that when you understand the technologies and how they work, there is more excitement than there are concerns if you can choose to be intentional on how you use it and how you want it to impact you. You know, we all have a voice in where this tech goes. We have a voice in how it's used. And so if we turn a blind eye and ignore it, then the decisions are going to be continue to come from the innovators, the scientists, the researchers, the engineers. And that's such a small percentage of the population. You know, creators, entrepreneurs, women, individuals of color, anyone, moms, dads, they need to be at the table having a conversation and seeing how these emerging technologies are going to impact their day-to-day lives. More importantly, how do they want it to impact their day-to-day lives? And so, you know, for what drives me every day is the humanity in the technology. And if we remove that component, then why are we doing any of this? If it's going to ultimately hurt us and put us at a disadvantage, what is the purpose and why should we participate? But also to the point that you made, there are so many opportunities here. You know, I'm a creative entrepreneur. I'm a woman of color. I'm an immigrant. I was born in Jamaica. There were so many times when doors were closed to me, and it was education and awareness and knowledge that inspired me to continue to push forward, to not be a number or statistic, to follow my heart, to follow my passions, to inspire and educate others. Because with information is where you can make decisions. And so knowledge alone isn't going to, you know, give you wisdom. It's you taking that knowledge and deciding how to apply it. But if we can, through or communities like GatherVerse, empower individuals with the basic information so they move from a place of empowerment and excitement rather than from a place of fear and lack, then we can really see the benefits of this technology. So just to quote some numbers, there is a lot of fear around job loss. And we've seen that, you know, in reports about 84 million jobs will be lost. And then the conversation may just stop there and everyone is, oh, well, where's it going to go? What am I going to do? But if you read further, it also says 97 million will be created. That's a net of 12 million. So then the conversation is, well, how will that impact me? What are these jobs? Can I be, a creator of a new job, a new role, a new title? Can I empower myself with this technology to maybe start my own enterprise or my own business? Or as an artist, I can use it to empower myself, getting to directly to my consumer or giving my community more of what they want. So, and at scale where I don't necessarily need to wait for an investor to say yes to move forward, and which is oftentimes what holds a lot of us back. And so there's so many opportunities here. And I feel that we've been given this really great gift of a toolbox. And it's up to us to go in and dig and test and play and talk to each other and share the positive results of what these technologies can bring to humanity.
Nova, you're one of the best in the business. Audience at GatherVerse.live, with all of you that are at our various social streams, follow this leader, this influencer of change for culture, who we are so happy to have with us quite evidently today. Nova, thank you for taking the time to join with us.
Thank you so much, Christopher. This was amazing. We've been talking for a long time, and I'm so excited to finally join you here on